Welcome back. You're listening to Home Wizards. Cindy Dole, Eric Stromer. We love to help improve your home and improve your life. And that music is a guy, an Inca.
Yeah, that was hand recorded by you and I, holding a microphone and a recorder.
It was beautiful.
He's playing a pan flute, essentially.
Yes, it gives you the
made
sense
of bamboo, fashioned of bamboo.
It makes you feel just at peace and that everything is good because it is the San Francisco Garden Show where it's just packed, the biggest and the best in the country, if not the world, where landscapers come together and everyday gardeners come together to get inspired. And you walk through this huge conference center in San Mateo, actually, and there's there are little mini cities of walk-in gardens.
Right. I just wanted to say, back to the pan flute guy.
Yeah.
It was so nice to feel so relaxed as I was shoving a huge hot dog into my head, the lower hole in the lower two-thirds of my face, called my mouth.
Yeah.
But it made me feel relaxed as I was ingesting and recording at the same time.
And complete.
Yes, that's right.
Well, speaking of eating, we're all of us. Why aren't you into edible gardens? I hope you are by now. And there's so many solutions to do it, whether you have space to do it or not. But wait till you get a load of this. We walked through the center and we saw there's a number of ponds and water features. But this one pond, well, what struck you about it? Eric?
Well, first of all, it looked like a naturally occurring setting. It looked like you were in a mountain retreat somewhere with a beautiful waterfall stream going down to a great little pond.
Don't give it all away. Let's if you get a corny, play this guy. I mean, this is an amazing feature. You can hear the sound of water behind us because here at the garden show there are a number of ponds and fountains, and this one is spectacular. It looks like it is something you'd see at Yosemite.
Well, it feels like someone's going to do some cliff diving, doesn't it? It's got that vibe to it a little bit.
With us is Nathan Beck, and he is a landscape designer. So, Nathan, when you came up with the idea, there's a lot of natural rocks that have water spilling out, from the sides of them and then spilling to the next rock into a pond.
Yes, well, the idea was to create a beautiful water feature here, but what you don't see here is this is an aquaponic garden. So we're actually we're using it to produce food, and we're using it to produce vegetables.
Really? Where? What kind of vegetables?
So we have our hydroponic, our aquaponic garden over there on that side. So what we're doing is we have fish. So the idea is we can grow fish in our own garden that could be consumed as food. So there's certain fish that you can get out there that you can consume as food. Catfish, tilapia, fish like that. They can be grown in your own backyard, and you can consume those as food. The other thing we're doing is we have a bottom drain at the bottom of the pond. Those fish produce a lot of waste. So what do you do with that waste? You need to get rid of that waste. So what a better fertilizer than fish waste? So what we are doing is we have an external pump in the back of our pond. The bottom drain sucks that fish waste, which is nutrient rich,
and
feeds our hydroponic garden. So it flows through. Our vegetables in the hydroponic garden are growing at about 2 to 3 times the normal rate of vegetables because they're being fed rich nutrients all the time.
So they're on steroids, the healthy kind.
Exactly. I planted those on Monday. They have probably doubled in size since Monday. I'm amazed at how fast they are growing.
And are there tilapia in there right now? Because I love a nice tortilla-encrusted tilapia.
Most of the fish that we have in there are dark. So typically what we see is the fish you're used to seeing in ponds are the bright koi fish. So one of the things about growing your own fish in your backyard, they're not very colorful fish. So I usually recommend to put koi in there with them. So you have your regular koi. Koi can be ate. Koi's a carp. You can eat koi, but pretty bony, so you really don't want to eat it.
Now, you know what I like? I like bacon. Do you grow bacon here? No? You could actually have some pigs running around.
The little path, that's for our boar hunter. The boar hunter takes the path in the back.
What I love about this is it's so well thought out in terms of a natural environment. It looks very much
a cycle of life.
It really is. I mean, you can see absolutely every angle that you've come up with here on how you grow plants, which then feed animals, which then recycle back into the earth again. It's really quite amazing.
And is hydroponics, is this becoming a trend? Are we seeing a lot of people doing this all around the country, or is it in California only? Or
what I'm looking at here is we're in Silicon Valley. Everybody's got their little hybrid car. They want to work with the environment, not against the environment. So what I wanted to really show is here's a beautiful garden that you can be working with nature. The other thing we got going on here, you're standing on permeable pavers. You're standing on a cistern system right here. There's hundreds of gallons of water underneath your feet right now. So what we're doing is we're basically, rainwater will come down, go through the pavers, be stored in there. So we're storing our water. We can take that water, pump it up and water all our plants here with that water. So in the winter, we're going to have the rain. The rainwater is going to fall through our patio, fill our cistern system up, or we can collect our water from our gutters off the roof of our house, put it into our cistern system. In the summer, hey, if we don't want to turn on the spigot to be paying for water, we can pump our water out of our patio here, hook it onto our drip system, and all our plants that I selected here are very drought tolerant.
So we don't need to water our vegetables? It's all covered with this system?
Well, the vegetables are covered by the pond.
Right.
So we don't have to worry about watering the vegetables or feeding the vegetables at all. But rest of the garden can be watered with the water that we're collecting.
So then is there a pumping system in the cistern that pumps the water out?
Yes, we basically pump up we will use an external pump because external pumps you can pump up from.
Okay.
So in this garden we are hiding our external pump back here. We got a little pathway going up to our external pump. So we can pump up and water the rest of our plants in the garden off of the cistern.
This is really
amazing. Yeah. Now
can we do this on our own?
I want to have this. Can I have this?
This isn't a DIY project, is it?
You can easily incorporate this into your landscape. One of the big things that permeable pavers, one of the things that's happening is with housing getting closer and closer together and buildings getting closer and closer together, they're requiring that you have so much of your landscape has to be permeable landscape. It can't be hardscape. So that's one of the things. Regular pavers, concrete's considered hardscape. This is permeable for pavers. It's really not considered hardscape because it's permeable. So the water can run through it. It can actually recharge the aquifer.
Isn't that amazing? And now this isn't cheap. This was a big one. This is what, $60,000?
Yeah, but what you get with it is a cistern, a water collection system that has a pump that then irrigates when the dry spell comes upon us, and it uses recycled water. And I mean, it's just it is the future to me. And
what it did to those edible gardens, they basically said that overnight that the tomatoes doubled in size because it's the fertilizer from the fish
waste, yeah.
That now just becomes, again, this cycle of life, and you don't have to feed your edibles.
The cycle of life. Felt like a Disney movie.
We can even pipe in your voice
to
kind of talk to the plants and talk to the fish.
That's right.
And I mean, who knew growing your own fish right there in the pond, and it was so soothing to hear the water. So what a cool idea.
Yeah, I do. This whole idea too of breaking up concrete or hardscape, as they put it, and then having water then leach back into the ground that can either irrigate or be repurposed somehow.
So smart.
Such a great idea.
Yeah, and as we're all watching water use and everything, it's a big price tag, but you can make a smaller one, and I'm sure you could probably, even scale it back further and just, take baby steps toward that. But what a really neat way to kind of just use your yard.
Great idea.
Well, there's so many other things that we discovered. I love lights. I love firefly lights, and there was this one table that really caught my eye, and we have it on our Facebook page, Facebook.com/Home Wizards. How would you describe it? It looked like it was recycled glass with a piece of glass over it. It's a table with like LED lights underneath?
Yeah, little LED lights and almost broken glass underneath an opaque top, so it almost gives you the impression that you're looking at a galaxy.
Yeah.
In a circle of glass.
And the base was something that they used, it was
like
recycled
reclaimed steel of some sort. Yeah.
And then that treehouse. Talk about the treehouse that we saw. This was in one of the other walk-through gardens at the San Francisco Garden Show, the biggest in the country. I mean, this really spoke to you. Yeah,
this had such an artistic bent to it, and it was all reclaimed steel from probably a junkyard. And the guy created this amazing sort of treehouse that you could walk in, but then these big spider-like arms came up out of the top of it and then came into like lily pad-looking shapes on the top that became fountains that dripped into a pond, or there were hanging glass pendants that would rotate.
Yeah, like stained glass pendants.
Yeah, it was very whimsical and magical looking, and then they used this material called dargite, which is a reclaimed concrete and paper that becomes almost like a papier-mâché that you can use as paving stones, exterior and interior wall treatments. And sculpture, and it's easy to carve. It has about a 2-hour window where you can actually carve with it. So some great artistic stuff.
And if you go to the website or to our Facebook page as well, Facebook.com/Home Wizards, this guy, he made a dragon, right? And he painted it gold. And so again, it's may not be for everyone, but it was kind of a whimsy, artistic, playful design.
Yeah, absolutely. A guy named Brent Sumner, I think, designed that one. And again, the product's called Dargite, and it looks pretty fun to work with, especially for kids, I think.
So many ideas. All right. So as we continue our journey with you at the San Francisco Garden Show, as you're thinking about growing things year-round, we're lucky in Southern California we can do this, but there still might be those of you who want to get a jump start from seeds or maybe tropicals and orchids and things like that. You have a difficult time getting them to rebloom. What about a greenhouse? Well, wait till you hear what this guy that we're going to talk to next came up with. I mean, you could live in it.
I want to. I tried to, but they threw me out.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. So we're going to discover what that is all about. And another thing that I really loved, speaking of repurposed things, were these gutters. Talk about the gutters that you use to kind of have like a little rack for your edibles.
Yeah, again, it's just creative use of materials that you would otherwise not think that would be their purpose. For example, this was a couple of little gutters that were hanging from a wall that was made out of old pallets that you would get from the back of a Home Depot, for example. And then they painted each of the
pretty colors,
woods, different colors, and then hang all this great stuff on that, and it just becomes another great way to use fencing or a screen.
And they had a drip system there, too,
yeah,
right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So creative, and just go check out all the pictures. But we're going to talk more. Don't you go away. As the fun continues, Home Wizards, Eric Stromer, Cindy Dole, as we love to improve your home and improve your life.